Hello, my friend. David here. Hope you're well. It's Saturday, and I was thinking about something recently. Actually, I've been thinking a lot about what's going on in the world, and last night I couldn't really sleep. It was so much on my mind. And I wanted to tell you a quick story. So, back in 2017, I started a business, and it's the first business I'd ever started, didn't know what I was doing. I aligned myself with a company who had me do certain things that I felt were kind of against my values. And as a result of that, I remember waking up one morning and I felt this very strong feeling of just no confidence. I knew something was really wrong. I didn't know what it was. And I felt like, well, at the time, I thought it was because this company was making me do things that went against my values and and a bunch of other things. I was also at the time doing a lot of personal development, which I still do, but because it was my first time doing that, I felt like my subconscious was throwing up a lot of resistance, which it was. And that started on May, I think it was May 14th, 2017. And for the next, I don't know, probably about 8 months, maybe even a bit longer, uh, I went through these ups and downs. It was sometimes I felt on top of the world, other times I was just at the very bottom of the world. And for the most part, it was really bad. I was very depressed. I was working a job I hated. My business was doing really badly, of course, and there are many other reasons for that. But so the business wasn't going well. I was working a job I hated. I was living in a place that I didn't like. I wasn't really doing much music at all. In fact, I wasn't doing any music. And and at one point, I was sitting in my boss's office, and he asked me. He said, "David, how do you think you're going?" And I said, "Oh yeah, think things are going okay." And he goes, "You sure you don't look like you're having much fun?" I said, "Well, maybe I'm not having much fun. Maybe I'm not having any fun at all." And he goes, "Well, what do you want to do for work?" And in my head, I was like, I want to be a musician, but I was also very lost and confused at the time. So I just said, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. And he said, "Well, what do you like to do for fun?" And I looked at him blankly and I said, "I don't know." And that really concerned me. I felt like I'd lost my sense of self. And not long after that, I was told that I had to leave the job. Around that same time, I was told that I had to leave the house I was living in, and which both of those were actually blessings in disguise. But at the time, it was very stressful. They say that some of the most stressful things that you'll ever put yourself through is when you lose your house and you lose your job, and there's maybe when you're going through a divorce, perhaps. I don't know. The other third one, I can't remember. But to experience both of those things at the same time is very stressful, and it got me thinking about what people are experiencing now in the world. A lot of them have lost their jobs. A lot of them may have lost their houses too. Um, I was watching a JCK video recently, and she was saying that you know every time that you wear this or you do something that your soul doesn't want to do, perhaps it's wearing this or maybe getting the thing. Maybe your employer is putting pressure on you to get it, or maybe the government even. That's happening here. Or maybe it's another reason. Maybe it's friends and family. Every time that you do something like that, and especially if it's a big thing like taking that, then a little piece of your soul dies, right? And unfortunately, we are here on this earth right now to experience the Great Awakening. Well, no, fortunately, we're here. But unfortunately, if you haven't done the work prior, it's going to mean that you're going to have to experience a lot of pain in order to get there. Now, 2017 was hands down the worst year of my life. My life was shit. My business was shit. I was working a crap job. Uh, living in a crap place, and barely had any money. Just I was only working part time. All my money was going to rent and living expenses. Pretty much was spending like $50 a week on food for a long time. Didn't have any money for really doing anything else. Like if I wanted to go out or go to a movie or whatever, I didn't really have any money for that. I was in debt, and so there was a lot going on, and it was extremely painful. And my point is that it's because I persevered, and and it face the pain head on. It didn't take the easy way out by moving home, or other things I could have done. Perhaps, maybe going back to accounting or something and earning more money. Like I think moving home did cross my mind a lot, but I knew that I'd just be kind of in the same position, just in a different city. And not only that, but it would probably be easier for me because I'd be living at home. But it would have been really bad for my growth. And that's the point I'm trying to make. We can take the easy way out all the time. We can take the path of least resistance, but that's not what's going to get us the growth that we desire and what we really need. And it's for the same reason that humanity, whether we knew about these things that have been going on in the world or we didn't know, uh, the information's always been out there. It's a lot easier to find now, but it has always been out there. People have been awake for 20 years, some longer, right? But now it's readily available, and it's not just the coming into the information that's important; it's what you do with it. So, I was aware of the NWO 7 years ago, and I told some friends, and they all thought I was crazy. Not all of them did, but most of them did. And I didn't know the full agenda, but I didn't really do much with the information. I kind of just let it go by the wayside. And if I had taken that information and started speaking about it, maybe, well, not maybe, I would have woken up more people, over the last 7 years for sure. But my point is that what are we going to do? Because humanity, we all chose to be here at this time to experience the growth, to experience the Great Awakening, to get to the fifth dimension, to experience the raising consciousness and a much better way of life. No slavery, free energy, hopefully. No animal cruelty. Abundance for the entire world. No third world countries, and so on and so forth. Obviously, rescuing the children is a huge thing too, and that's something that only I was aware of last year. But we are here now to experience it now, and if we don't step into the growth, we can step backwards into safety by wearing this or getting this or not standing up for what you feel, what you believe in, or your rights. Whichever one you want to choose. If we choose the safety route, it's going to take us much longer to get there. And the reason why I got kicked out of my house is because I should have moved. I just didn't move. And same thing for the job. I should have just looked for another job much earlier, and I wouldn't have lost the job or been kicked out of the house. I would have left on my own terms, and that's the point. I mean, there are many points, but that's one of the big ones. It's doing things on your own terms rather than being forced to do something, forced to grow. And I know it's hard. I know that when you've got a family to feed, or when you've got mortgage to pay, or bills to pay, it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I had to leave my job and still have to pay rent, and and I trusted in the universe that things would work out. And I think that's another important thing. We have these. If we trust that the universe will provide to us an avenue with which to make money or with which to provide for our family, then things do become a little bit easier. I was actually very excited when I got to leave the job because it was just draining me. But it really does come down to, what we are willing to put up with, because what we tolerate is what we get. If we're willing to tolerate the tyranny and all these crazy things that are happening, then it will just continue. We can't comply our way out of tyranny. We have to face it head on. And, we're all in this together because it is humanity rising, right? And there's so much happening. And sometimes it's not, we don't see it all. Not all the time. We don't see it all. There's certain things we do, certain things we don't. But it's, I don't think that God would let what was going to come down the pipeline or to be the fate of humanity become the fate of humanity. And, if it does happen, then, I guess we're immortal spiritual beings having a human experience. So when the time comes for us to pass away, then our spirit and our soul lives on. But if we don't learn things and the lessons on the soul level, then we'll incarnate into another body and we'll have to go through the exact same thing again. So that's what I want to leave you with. I don't know your situation, and I don't know whether they're mandating things in the arm, things over the face, whatever, where you live. But the quicker that we can stand in our power, the faster this ends. And I know we all know this, but not everybody practices what they preach. Literally felt like I was dying in that year. And then in 2019, I felt reborn. And that's what I believe we're going to be experiencing now. We all need to go through this. We all need to go through the death phase in order to come out the other side. And trust me, it's going to be good. Because I would do that again in a heartbeat, knowing what I know now about what happened on the other side. Even though it was hell at the time, I would do it all again. So I want to leave you with that. I hope you've enjoyed the video. So until the next time, peace, much love, take care.